Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. I'm trying to go over all the ones that I've missed, and I'm trying to clear off each unique item in order. And one other one that I missed is apparently Insatiable Fury. I could have sworn I made this one, though. It's one of those cases where I'm pretty sure I made it, and the only thing that I can think happened was I never uploaded it, which has happened to me on occasion before. I'll literally make a video and then just never upload it. So it's probably just lost somewhere in time. As for this item, though, it has seen some changes, a couple little bug fixes and things like that. So maybe it's better I made it in the newer version. Now, Insatiable Fury is an armor that's specifically for the Druid, and it is a very interesting little piece. It basically turns you into a bear, and then you stay a bear forever. It's nice. Not in town, though, which is kind of sad. You don't get to stay a bear in town. They don't let you be a bear in town. You're not allowed to be. Probably scare all the little children and the dogs and stuff. So they don't let you do that. Now, the Insatiable Fury armor is capable of being found up at 925. So, of course, that's going to increase the armor value depending on what item power you find dead. It does have 175.5% overpower damage, which is kind of insane, between 126 and 189%. And overpower is insane in Season 2. I don't know if they're ever going to nerf it. I don't feel like they ever are, because they tried so hard for so long to get us to use overpower. Now they finally got us to use it. I just don't think they're going to touch it. But 189% additional overpower damage is amazing. So if you're running one of those nice overpower builds, Insatiable Fury definitely gives you a nice bump in damage. Sorry, I'm still getting over sickness. It also gives a pretty decent amount of physical damage increase, so between 15.7 and 26.2%. As you can see, mine's pretty bad with that 15.7 bottom roll. And it also gives a massive amount of armor while in werebear form. Now, the interesting thing to note about this, especially for those of you who may have tried this armor before and said to yourself, well, this armor's not tanky enough. I don't like this armor. I need a tankier armor. Well, you were right. So it turns out there was a bug, and this is one that literally blew my wig back. I mean, literally blew my wig back. And what was the bug? Well, basically what it was is that so when you put on the armor, and you're outside of town and you're not doing anything. So let's say you're just standing there for whatever reason, or maybe you used, I don't know, like a non-werewolf werebear ability, right? So whenever you have the armor on while you're outside of the game world, it will keep you in werebear form. Well, the bug basically was that any modifier, armor, damage reduction, anything that was applying specifically while you were in werebear form was actually not working in this state. I know, it's stupid. What do I mean by that specifically? Well, when I use Debilitating Roar, it transfers me into a werebear. Okay, that's something that the Debilitating Roar does. The armor value that Insatiable Fury and other items was giving me, and the damage reduction that other items was giving me while in werebear form, was applying when I would use an ability that was a werebear skill. That would still work. But if I was wearing the armor and the armor had just transformed me into a werebear, and I was not actually actively using a werebear skill, I was not getting any of the damage reduction modifiers. This is something that has changed, the bug pad that they fixed, and the werebear and the werewolf have both felt very, 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 very much so better tankiness-wise ever since they fixed it, because if you were relying on the Insatiable Fury, or if you were relying on Mad Wolf's Glee to turn you into a werewolf or a werebear at that time, well, it wasn't actually giving you any kind of damage reduction or armor bonuses at all. Yeah. So this armor now actually does give you that armor bonus, and you might find that it's a little bit tankier of a plate than it was before. On top of this, we also have a 12.5% damage reduction while fortified, which does roll between 7.3 to 15.3%, which is a pretty nice amount of damage reduction while fortified. And the werewolf and the werebear really don't have much issues fortifying, so you shouldn't have too much trouble generating fortify and getting that additional damage reduction. So you got 2 offensive and 2 defensive bonuses. And then the main effect of Insatiable Fury is that werebear form is now your true form, which we were talking about earlier. Now it will make you into a werebear. That doesn't mean that you won't transfer out of werebear form. If I tap my werewolf skill here, it's going to transform me into a werewolf. But it's going to instantly transform me back to a werebear once that's over. Normally, if I don't have Insatiable Fury on and I utilize something like debilitating roar, this could turn me into a werebear. But if I use a human skill, it's going to turn me right back into a human. And then, since I'm not a werebear, it's not going to turn me back into a werebear. The only thing this really does is it just changes your base form into the werebear form, so that no matter what you do, no matter how you transform your character around, at the end, when it defaults back to whatever your base form is, it's always going to default back to your werebear form, which is nice. It also gives +3 ranks to all werebear skills. It used to be a bug where it would go to +4. It does not go to +4 anymore. It only goes to +3. That was apparently confirmed a bug. Same thing with Mad Wolf's Glee. Mad Wolf's Glee also used to go to 4, and now it does not. It only goes to 3. On the armor, it says, when the days of Ash began, the great druid Nefane reminded his disciples that nothing, not even the loss of their humanity, was too great a sacrifice to protect Turdulra from Astaroth's flames. I mean, it's an interesting piece of kit. I think its damage, it has enough damage reduction that it can definitely be useful, and it's one of the better plates in terms of that. I think Mad Wolf's Glee is a little less tanky. I mean, it does have the damage reduction from enemies while poisoned, which is a 12%, but this one has a 69.8% armor bonus, which is... That's a lot. That's a lot of armor. I mean, if I was running like just like a tanky plate, I might be able to get like 29.2. See, I got like 29.2 on that one, which isn't too bad. 29.2 doesn't even touch the minimum on Insatiable Fury, which is kind of silly. Now, the difference is, unfortunately, though, is that because of the werebear form, it's a werebear form thing, anytime I transfer out of werebear form, I lose that armor. So when I transform a human form, you see the armor disappears. Then when I transform back into bear form, then the armor comes back. Transform to werewolf form, and the armor disappears. So it's not a steady, thing. Like, if you have other skills, especially if you're using a lot of non-werebear skills, that damage bonus isn't really going to give you as much, or the defense bonus isn't really going to be as good as you might think. This item can be farmed, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. I believe it's, I think it's, okay, I'm checking on Diablo 4.life here because it's pretty easy. If you look up any of the uniques on Diablo 4.life, you'll find that we already have it all set up here. Me and Proner and I, to be more grammatically correct. As you can see, Grigore, Galvanic Saint, and the Beast in the Ice both offer a better chance. And if you ever want to look stuff up, but there is a target farming tool as well where you can post in, you can just put in what you want. Like maybe you're looking for waxing gibbous, and so it'll tell you Grigore, Beast in the Ice, or you could type in something like Oculus. Oculus, of course you got to be on the sorcerer for that. And you say Beast in the Ice for the Oculus, and so forth and so on. It's a pretty neat little tool to have. All in all, I do think that the Insatiable Fury is the better of the two between the Mad Wolf's Glee and the Insatiable Fury. It does have at least some defensive capability, whereas Mad Wolf's Glee is mostly offensive. And because it's mostly offensive, it's in a bad slot. Really what it comes down to is that you can get quad defensive armor. You can get quad defensive pants. You can get, and that's it. Though that's where all your defensive aspects generally come from, is your armor and your pants. And so for Mad Wolf Glee and Insatiable Fury to consume one of those defensive slots and not provide enough defensive things in return is a little rough. Mad Wolf's Glee has some HP on it, which is, I guess, is okay, but the damage reduction that it has for the poison is really the only damage reduction that it has. At least with Insatiable Fury, you got 2 different damage reductions, which is a little bit better. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just talking about Insatiable Fury and being a werebear. And as always, keep watching.